Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is one of the final weeks of the year, and it's almost Christmas for people who celebrate that, and it's also Festivus. So let's get ready with this mucking fun day. It's not so mucking today as we start Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our news 10 to 15 minutes before we've started and we haven't had any caffeine. Get a warm cup of cocoa or a warm cup of a mocktail as we read out these headlines. Today on Before Coffee, let's go over the German Christmas market attack that happened on Friday.
And the Bank of England warns of heightened uncertainty as it keeps interest rates on hold. And Okinawa Governor wants 9,000 Marines to leave now.
Bethlehem plans another somber Christmas under the shadow of war in Gaza.
And it's the gift that keeps giving. Clarence Thomas went on even more undisclosed trips.
For culture news, let's look at a list of 5 mocktails to enjoy this Christmas without getting any of those hangovers.
Mocktails, ooh. And it's December 23rd, as we mentioned earlier. It's Festivus for the rest of us. So get that list of grievances ready. It's December 23rd, 2024 on Before Coffee.
Yep. Happy Festivus, everyone. So if you don't celebrate, well, time to look up the, 30-year-old tradition of celebrating Festivus. I think it'd be 30 years, something like that.
Probably not even that.
Maybe. Not even. I don't know when the first episode of that on Seinfeld came out. But I'm 30, so if it came out after 94, then it's not 30 yet.
Some writer in Seinfeld's dad. Writer in Seinfeld's dad came up with it. Yep. I could tell you during the break. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So, let's look at some sad news. Some somberness is all I'm covering today as we cover the Christmas market attack in Germany that, for me, comes off very suspiciously. This is on The Independent by Alicia Rahman Sakar and Holly Evans. A far-right rally gathered yesterday, or I guess on Saturday, in eastern Germany after 5 people, including a child, were killed in an attack on a Christmas market. Around 1,000 people congregated in the city of Magdeburg, sorry, it's German, not Dutch, on Saturday night, after misinformation about the motives of the suspected attackers spread online. That tends to be what happens. Let's tell them all a bunch of lies so they get angry and start, populism, guys. This is classic populism. The crowd was seen with a banner with the word re-immigration, and local media reported there were some minor altercations with the police. Police have arrested a 50-year-old Saudi doctor identified by local media as Taleb A, who has lived in Germany since 2006. But here is the kicker. He reportedly sympathized with Germany's far-right Alternative for German party. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser expressed concern that the attack could have been exploited by the far right, but said little could be done to prevent seemingly coordinated gatherings. On Saturday, she also described the suspect as an Islamophobe. So, is it possible that this Christmas market attack was caused by the people who want to hate all immigrants? It might be. It might be. I'm not a detective, but it's very suspicious. The suspect driver of the car that rammed in the Christmas market in Germany has remained in custody since appearing in court on that Saturday night. The judge ordered pre-trial detention for 5 counts of murder, multiple attempted murder, and multiple counts of dangerous bodily harm. In a statement, it was said 5 people, including the 9-year-old child, have died following the attack on Friday night. Law enforcement in Germany are facing criticism over their security and intelligence failure after the Saudi national rammed a car into the crowd. German Interior Minister Nancy Fraser and the head of the intelligence services are expected to answer questions at Parliament Committee on the 30th, so after Christmas. German authorities' social media said it received a tip in the late summer of 2023, which was taken seriously. Police said in a dispute over the recognition of examination results, the suspect threatened members of the State Medical Association with an act that would attract international attention. Authorities named the 9-year-old boy, who was among the 5 people killed, as thousands of pounds were raised for their grieving family. In a heartbreaking social media post, the mother of Andrei Leisner paid tribute to her son. So I had to pause to remember how to pronounce it properly. Paid tribute to her son and said, "Let my little teddy bear fly around the world again. Andrei didn't do anything to anybody. He was only with us on Earth for 9 years. Why you? Just why?" Meanwhile, the Saudi doctor accused of driving the market in Magdeburg has appeared in court. I'm also reading kind of like a news scroll for all the things that have been happening for this terrible event in Germany. Mostly, it seems like the suspect was threatening to do something terrible since the summer, which is what the security system is getting criticism for. If they knew this guy was a risk, why was he able to drive into a Christmas market at all? Another person on TikTok was arrested over threatening a Christmas market on Sunday night. So now that they're trying to catch up to lost time, police in the port of Bremerhaven said that they detained a man who was threatened crimes at a Christmas market in a TikTok video. German news agency DPA reported that he had said he would stab any people of Arabic appearances there on Christmas Day. Yeah, so they could probably stab me. I'm brown. Now, this is the problem when you use race as a reason to hate somebody. It's just the color of their skin. It has nothing. It doesn't determine anything. Mourners have laid flowers near the scene of the deadly Christmas attack, as investigators puzzled over the motive of the suspect. In fierce world that the rampage could deepen divisions in German society. Well, part of the plan, I'm looking at, for me, it looks like an inside job. This guy liked the AFD, then he decided to drive into a Christmas market, and he hasn't, like it's been since Friday. They arrested him on Saturday, and there has been no words from him, or nobody's reported any words from him of why he did it, which it might have been because fuck immigrants, and they don't want that to be put out as a headline. So they're not saying anything. They're keeping it like, guys, it's Christmas time. We're not gonna deluge the news with this terrible event. We'll do it after Christmas, which is why they're answering questions on the 30th, I think.
Germany has a Reichstag fire. We always refer to that because it was totally staged by the Nazis. So yeah, I don't believe the Trump assassination was a real assassination attempt. I think that kid was set up.
It has happened again, that's for sure.
They killed him, shot him up. All right. So yeah, we're gonna have this kind of crap from dishonest people all the time. It's easy to suspect them of being an inside job or whatever you want to call it. It's
a very hard situation. It's a very suspicious situation. The Joanna Kirsch, a church short walk from the scene of the attack, has become the central place of mourning since the suspects drove the car. Authorities have identified the suspect. We already went over that, and it's very suspicious that he's supposedly an ex-Muslim who hates Islam and loved the AFD. Like I said, cannot confirm anything, but it's very suspicious. I think 200 others have been injured, so hopefully 200 others at the market get better and are hopefully able to at least spend some time with their families if they celebrate Christmas in 2 days. It hasn't even been a week, so there are 40 who are in critical condition, and And I guess if you believe that stuff, I'm sure there's donations that are being sent out for this terrible event. And on to your story.
Awful. Okay. From the awfulness of that to the world, I suppose. And we're going to talk about the Bank of England and interest rates. This is from AP, Pan Plius, written by somebody who wants me popping my peas first thing Monday morning. The UK's central bank warned Thursday of heightened uncertainty as it kept interest rates on hold after inflation moved further above target, even at a time when the British economy is flatlining at best. The Bank of England's 9-member Monetary Policy Committee kept its main interest rate unchanged at 4.75%, which really isn't that high, with new data showing inflation rising at 2.6%, further above the bank's 2% target. Yeah, the reserve banks of all the countries seem to have a 2% target, as if they can control inflation. They think they can by raising it. In response to the rate-setting panel, which last cut its key rate in November by taking a cautious stance because of lower borrowing costs could potentially stoke further inflation. The decision was widely anticipated in financial markets, yet surprisingly, as many as 3 of the members voted for a quarter-point cut. That could hint at further reduction in the next policy meeting in February if there is no big inflation surprises. We need to make sure we meet the 2% inflation target on a sustained basis, Bank Governor Andrew Bailey, who voted to keep rates on hold. We think a gradual approach to future interest rate cuts remains right, but with the heightened uncertainty in the economy, we can't commit to when or by how much we will cut rates in the coming year. Struggling sectors of the UK economy and homeowners are hoping for more cuts next year that would provide some relief. The British economy is now contracted for 2 months in a row. The bank's decision to keep interest rates on hold, while expected, will still come as a palpable blow to thousands battling with burdensome mortgage bills and businesses facing jumping costs following the autumn budget. And Surreen Theroux, economics director on the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. That's her opinion. Anyway, that's Susan Theroux is her name. The bank's decision arrives the day after the U.S. Federal Reserve reduced interest rates, but Chair Jerome also said that the Fed would be slowing the pace of rate cuts going forward after inflation forecasts revised higher. The minutes Bank of England's decision show that the rates are cautioned over the economic outlook in the wake of the new Labour government first budget and the outcome of the U.S. presidential election. That's right, because Trump is going to crash the economy, and they can see it. Critics argue that the budget in October elevated inflation pressures, while also damping growth. The increase in business taxes may prompt companies to offset higher costs by raising prices or cutting down on hiring. The government argues that if it needed to raise taxes to short public finances, injecting the cash star public services. And with Trump returning to the White House in January, there's uncertainty as to whether the U.S. administration will impose tariffs on imports on an economic strategy that could lead to tit-for-tat responses that stokes inflation and lowers growth. Still, inflation in the UK and across the world was far lower than it was a couple years ago, and partly because the central banks dramatically increased borrowing costs from near zero during the coronavirus pandemic when prices started to shoot up, first as a result of supply chain issues and then because of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which pushed energy costs. Wow, you think they said anything to inflation? And now who's in charge of the presidency of the UK or the United States? Wow, amazing. They got to the root of it. But of course, in the United States, we just don't give a shit about facts. They just blame people without any evidence. As inflation rates have fallen to multi-decade highs, the banks have started cutting interest rates, though few, if any, economists think that rates will fall back to super low levels that persist in the years after the global financial crisis of 2008 and 2009. So they're going to be not cutting interest rates, apparently, and then raising interest rates. Cutting interest rate boosts the economy, but they don't want the economy to get too hot, which makes no sense at all. They want the economy to grow, but you don't want people to have money. That's basically what they're saying. I got it, whatever.
Yeah.
Slow down the economy, slow down growth because of economic uncertainty, and it can always cut later. You can do too much now, there's more to go. Just taking the only tool they really have out of the toolbox. It's like, I don't need this tool anymore. Oh shit, I don't have tools. So they're not going to cut interest rates to that. They're going to leave them high just because it gives them something to do. They can cut them. They got 4% to go down now. They go down to 1/8 of a point at a time. It takes a while.
Yeah.
Other news, okay. We go far east, Okinawa Governor seeks deadline to relocate 9,000 U.S. Marines amid safety concerns. When I was governor, this is from SEMP.com. Okinawa's governor has mandated a clear deadline for relocating 9,000 U.S. Marines from the southern Japanese prefecture to Guam, but there are doubts over whether he will receive such a timeline, with one analyst calling the request unreasonable, given the transfer logistical complexity. Governor Danny Tamaki voiced his request during a meeting with Defense Minister General Nakatani in the Okinawan capital of Naha on Sunday. The minister paid a courtesy call to the governor to confirm that the first detached of 100 Marines had begun their transfer. Nakatani said the national government plans to alleviate the strain on the prefecture from hosting of U.S. military facilities in Japan. He did not, however, commit to providing with a firm timetable for the relocation of American troops as part of the 2006 agreement that would transfer 9,000 of the 19,000 U.S. Marines sitting there to Guam, which I will say Guam. Anyway, it's pretty unreasonable for the governor to request a timetable like that because the logistics involved in moving that many troops and all their equipment is extremely challenging, said Ryo Hanati Yamaguchi, associate professor at Tokyo International University's Institute for International Strategy. Wow, international and that thing twice.
Wow.
Hi, I work at the Tokyo International University's Institute for International Strategy. Wow. Once you say strategy, you already got international in there once. You don't need it twice. This is a huge complicated thing to do, especially at the time of worsening security challenges in the region, he told This Week in Asia. Anyway, that's your story. The short one. Stories.
The economists are still economing, or at least attempting to think that they can do it, but yeah.
Right.
Not.
Yep. English and back to you.
Okay, let's go to our next story, which is some more somber news. It's downer today. It's about Bethlehem, celebrating Christmas under the shadow of war in Gaza. This is on AP News by Melanie Lidman. West Bank, and it's coming out of West Bank. The Nativity store in Manager Square has sold handmade olive wood carvings and religious items to people visiting the traditional birthplace of Jesus since 1927. But as Bethlehem prepares to mark its second Christmas under the shadow of war in Gaza, there are almost no tourists, leaving the Nativity store and other businesses unsure of how much longer they can hold on. For the second straight year, Bethlehem's Christmas celebrations will be somber and muted, in deference to the ongoing war in Gaza. There will be no giant Christmas tree in the manger square, no raucous scout marching bands, no public lights twinkling, and very few public decorations or displays. Last year, before Christmas, we had more hope, but now again we are close to Christmas and we don't have anything, said Ronnie Tabash, the third generation owner of the Nativity store. Israel's war against Hamas has been raging for nearly 15 months, and there is still no end in sight. Repeated ceasefire efforts have stalled. Since the war began, tourism in Israel and Israel-occupied West Bank has plummeted, and after Israel barred entry to most of its 150,000 Palestinians in the West Bank who had jobs in Israel. They cut off their own workers, and they're like, oh man, we're suffering. Of course, it's not these people's fault, it's their government's fault. So, the Palestinian economy contracted by 25% in the past year. The yearly Christmas celebrations in Bethlehem, shared among Armenian Catholic and Orthodox denominations, are usually major boons for the city, where tourism accounts for 70% of its yearly income. But the streets are empty this season. Tabash said he continues to open the store every day, and often an entire week will go by without a single sale. Tabash works with more than 25 local families who create hand-carved religious items out of the region's storied olive wood. But with no buyers, work has dried up for these families. The number of visitors to the city plunged from a pre-COVID high of around 2 million visitors per year in 2019 to fewer than 100,000 visitors in 2024. Idris Dumesai, the spokesperson for the Palestinian Tourism Ministry. According to the Christmas story, Mary was forced to give birth to Jesus in a stable because there was no room at an inn. Today, nearly all of Bethlehem's 5,500 hotels rooms are empty. The city's hotel occupancy rate plunged from around 80% in early 2023 to around 3%. 3! Not even 10, said Elias Al-Ajah, the head of Bethlehem Hoteliers Association. At his own hotel, the Bethlehem Hotel, he said he has laid off staff of more than 120 people and retains just 5 employees. So if there's 5,000 hotel rooms and at least let's say it's the same, right? 120 people have been laid off. That's a lot of people without jobs because of this war.
Mhm.
A lot of people who are
At
probably
least.
starving this Christmas because of this war. The city hosts more than 100 stores and 450 workshops dealing with traditional Palestinian handicraft, Kumyase said. But just a week before Christmas, when the city should be bursting with visitors, Major Square was mostly empty, save for a few locals selling coffee and tea. Only 2 of the 8 stores in the main drag of the square were even open for business. Kumyase worries that when the war ends and tourism eventually rebounds, the families that handed down traditional skills for generations will no longer be making those items that reflect Palestinian heritage and culture. Many are leaving the region entirely. We have witnessed a very high rate of immigration since the beginning of the aggression, especially among those working in the tourism sector. Almost 500 families have left Bethlehem in the past year, said Mayor Anton Salman, and those are just the families who moved abroad with official residency visas. Many others have moved abroad on temporary tourist visas and are working illegally. It is unclear if they will ever return, Salman has said. Around half of the population in Bethlehem area, including nearby villages, works in either tourism or jobs in Israel. The unemployment rate in Bethlehem is roughly 50%. Salman, unemployment across the West Bank is around 30%, according to the Palestinian Economy Ministry. Yeah, of all the people who are alive, I don't think they count the people who've been killed as unemployed. Because I'm sure it'd be higher if if this person was still alive and didn't get killed by a bomb, I would count dead people as unemployed. Just to make a statement. We have 80% unemployment because that's how many people have been killed.
Open up a job.
Yeah.
There's job openings with dead people.
I guess that's true.
So that alleviates unemployment because in theory, an unemployed person takes their place.
Yeah.
That's depressing as hell. Depressing.
Very depressing. Canceling Christmas festivities is one way to draw attention to the difficult situation. So that's why they're being so depressing. They want to show people how depressing it is. This year, we want to show the world that Palestinian people are still suffering and they have the joy that everyone else in the world is having, said Salman. It is another blow to the Holy Land's dwindling population over the decade due to immigration and low birth rate. Christians are a small percentage of the population. There are about 182,000 in Israel, 50,000 in West Bank and Jerusalem, and 1,300 in Gaza, according to the U.S. State Department. Father Isa Taleji, parish priest of the Greek Orthodox Church in the Church of Nativity, said many families are struggling financially, leaving them unable to pay rent or school fees, much less buy Christmas presents or celebrate the holiday in other ways. The church's social services have tried to help, but they're also having problems financially. I mean, you can't get donations from people who can't donate anything. Taleje said his Christmas message this year focused on encouraging Palestinians in Bethlehem to stay despite the challenges. A church without Christians is not a church, he said, as workers hand-polished the ornate brass candelabras in the cavernous empty church as week before the holiday. The light was born when Jesus Christ was born here in the light that moves beyond darkness, so we have to wait. We have to be patient. We have to pray a lot, and we have to stay with our roots because our roots are in Bethlehem, he said. Some families are finding ways to bring back pockets of joy. Bethlehem resident Nihal Bandak, 39, gave in to her 3 children's request to have a Christmas tree this year, after not having one last year. Decorating the tree is the favorite part of Christmas of her youngest daughter, 8-year-old Stephanie. Matthew Bandak, 11, was thrilled, and his family brought back some of their traditions, but also torn. I was happy because we get to decorate and celebrate, but the people are in Gaza and we don't know anything to celebrate, he said. Ronnie Tabash, the 3rd-generation owner of the Nativity store, said he will continue to open the store because it's part of his family history. We are not feeling Christmas, but in the end, Christmas is in our heart, he said, adding the entire city was praying for a ceasefire and peace. We have a big faith that always, when we see Christmas, it will give us the light in the night. So there is your somber news coming out of Bethlehem. More reasons to put pressure on all the governments, especially Israel, to stop Just stop. Give up. You made your point. You can kill people. Both of them have made their points. They can kill people and take people hostage. But I don't know if anything comes after the point. Because I feel like that's all we're doing is apostolizing and saying, look at me, I'm big, I'm a world leader, and look at us, we can fight back. But I don't think anything is actually being done about the problem that caused this entire scenario. Onto your more uplifting news, or I guess I don't know if it's what it is. You can definitely laugh at it. Your story.
Segue away.
Yeah.
Just moving right along. On to always has a happy Christmas. Clarence Thomas. He always does, and of course oligarchs. Oligarchs and Clarence Thomas are always happy. Why? Because money and all the greatness it can buy. All the laws and decisions it can buy. This is from VanityFair.com. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas went on even more undisclosed trips. He went on 2 more trips. The author is Katie Hirsching-Roeder. Clarence Thomas went on 2 more trips provided by Texas billionaire and conservative donor Harlan Crow. Then he previously disclosed, according to Senate Democrat-led 20-month investigation into practices at the Supreme Court, released on Saturday. Thomas didn't include trips in past financial forums, and according to the committee, they only heard about them after threatenings. Crow concluded their investigation with a 93-page report, along with about 80 pages of documents that delves into what they describe as the ethical crisis of the court's own making. In a statement after the report became on Saturday, Michael Zona, spokesman for Crow, did an inquiry as political, partisan, and unconstitutional. Unconstitutional from the start. And held that it wanted to turn over the information unconstitutional, says the guy who's bribing a Supreme Court justice. I love the hubris of this asshole. Yeah. The additional trips on Crow's dime were one of the few revelations in a report that otherwise largely summarized information about the largesse accepted by judges and failures to disclose it that had already become public. The New York Times' Charlie Savage reports. 2 previously undisclosed trips, one where Thomas flew on Crow's private jet from Nebraska to Saranac, New York for a 5-day treat in one of the billionaire's residences, and another where the justice set the night on Crow's yacht being flown from Washington, D.C. to New Jersey for the dedication of the statue. Both took place in 2021. Recently unveiled itinerary is the latest relationship as Thomas, who has come under fire for reportedly accepting millions of gifts. According to the Judiciary Committee report, Thomas has accepted lavish and wealthy benefactors supplemented before the court, and nearly all of whom first met Thomas after he joined the court since his confirmation in 1991. The number, value, and extravagance of gifts accepted by Justice Thomas report reads have no comparison in modern American history, said the Judiciary Committee member, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. Displays a copy of this for a picture. Cashing for a picture. Following the death of Antonin Scalia in 2016 during a free stay at another business hunting lodge, and members of the Supreme Court have come under increased security about how they disclose or don't these kinds of gifts. That scrutiny exponentially when in the spring of 2023, ProPublica released a series of investigations into Justice Thomas and Crow's decades-long relationship. Drawing from full records, internal documents distributed by Crow's employees, and interviews with dozens of people ranging from super yacht staff to members of the secretive Bohemian Club to an Indonesian scuba diving instructor, ProPublica found that Crow's access to justice extends to anyone the businessman chooses to invite along, including corporate executives and political activists. Following ProPublica's report in the past summer, Thomas amended his financial disclosure for 2019 to include other trips involving Crow, writing that he inadvertently omitted them in his previous reports. Oh, if there was just like some legal way to get rid of him or something. It's funny when the Supreme Court of the United States doesn't feel like it has to follow any kind of ethics. It's just, why?
Yeah.
Why do they not have to have any ethics whatsoever? Just mind-boggling. In November 23, the Supreme Court adopted a code of conduct for the first time in its history. Yet the 9-page code.
We're doing it.
Yeah, right. Look at code of conduct for the high court in the land. Imagine that. You have to be ethical. What the hell are they thinking? With an accompanying 5 pages commentary includes no enforcement mechanism. Oh yeah, look for conduct. Read the shit out. Indeed, Vanity Fair's Eric Lutz wrote after the code was signed by all 9 justices, by no means of clear external oversight, the code fails to address one of the most significant ethical vulnerabilities at the High Court, as justices are left to police themselves.
Love it.
This lack of accountability can lead to an environment where justices are in charge of deciding if they have conflicts of interest and need to recuse themselves rather than that decision made by a third party. Justice Thomas and Samuel Alito, another member of the court with a history of accepting trips from conservative billionaires, chose not to recuse themselves from cases involving Trump and his supporters' attempt to overturn the 2020 election despite potential conflicts of interest. Both of the justices were reportedly acted in ways that led the people to question whether the pair could rule impartially on Trump's cases, which of course they can't because they are all in the pocket of oligarchs. And we know this. According to the reporting in the Washington Post, based on text messages from Ginny Thomas, the justice's wife, repeatedly pressed White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows to pursue unrelenting efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election in a series of urgent text exchanges in the critical weeks after the vote. An upside-down flag associated with Stop the Steal movement was flown outside Toledo's home just a few weeks after the January 6th attack at the Capitol. An act that Justice has claimed was perpetrated by his wife, Martha Ann Toledo, even his wife. Well, maybe just, have a little influence on your wife, perhaps? No, I don't know. You married her. You must know her pretty well. The new investigation from the Senate Democrats from the contrary legal allegations. Justices have repeatedly failed to accuse themselves of cases of conflict of interest due to both inadequate conflict screening processes and willful refusal. These failures continue to demonstrate the need for less objectivity and more transparency in recusal determinations. In September, broadcast interview her first since joining the highest court, Justice Tati Brown Act and expressed support for adding an enforcement mechanism to the code of conduct, saying people are entitled to know if you're accepting gifts as a judge so they can evaluate whether or not your opinions are partial. A binding code of ethics is pretty standard for judges, Jackson told CBS Evening News anchor and managing editor Nora O'Donnell. So I guess the question is the Supreme Court any different? And I guess I have not seen a persuasive reason as to why the court is different than other courts. So there's a story on Clarence Thomas' latest bribery revelation. He's old as he's been getting them since he's been there. So it's just more relations, I guess. Of course, we know Clarence Thomas is basically going to he's basically going to resign as soon as the old face gets in charge, because then they can report and they can appoint another guy who's in the pocket of oligarchs. Yeah. Who's much younger than Clarence Thomas and knows how to hide that shit better, right? Although do a pretty good job on it. They found it and we find him, or back to you.
Okay. Well,
such a video.
Okay. I have a more lighthearted story now, which is all about mocktails. Now, if you want to get on Christmas, you can. I personally don't drink. But these mocktails are a great addition to any celebratory, hangout session. This is from Johnny Walfitz on the Renew Culture. It's Christmas soon, and whether you celebrate or not, it's the most European countries this time of year equates to drinks flowing liberally. For anyone looking for a non-alcoholic tipple, you're the favorite mocktails for the season. Maybe you're like Prince William, who nicknamed One Pint Willie by the husband of his cousin Zara, ex-rugby player Mike Tyndall. Perhaps you don't touch booze for health reasons or religious reasons. Whatever your rationale, if you're looking for a liquorless libation, there's no reason why you should avoid the cocktail menu this Christmas. I definitely would be going by One Pint Willie. I think I get drunk off of 1 pint, yeah. According to the WHO, heavy episodic drinking among Europeans under 25 has fallen more than 10 points since the year 2000, so you'll be in good company. Here are, first one, non-alcoholic eggnog. As a child, I only thought there was non-alcoholic eggnog. I had no idea there was anything with alcohol to begin with. I didn't know they put alcohol in it, so yeah, I think the first time I bought it here, I was like, there's alcohol in this. And then Robert was like, yeah, there's normally alcohol in it. I'm like, I know not where I'm coming. He said it without alcohol. They're not alcoholic, I guess. First invented in the UK, it can only be Brits that would think of using any egg yolk in a cocktail recipe. While egg whites are a typical ingredient in classic cocktail sour, the yolk feels sacrilege. Much like other British dishes like spotted egg and toad in a hole, alcoholic omelette, drink is actually brilliant. Make non-alcoholic version like heat cream with some grated nutmeg and cinnamon in a pan. Once that's combined, whisk an egg yolk with some sugar while it incorporates and gets fluffy. Slowly ladle some of your mixture into the yolk, whisking as you add it. Warm through the thicken and you have a virgin eggnog. Love the little thing about this recipe is you can alter it as please. Add cream on top. Put some vanilla in the cream. Go mad! You're already putting an egg inside of your drink. The Virgin Mary. True to the Christmas spirit, you should honor the woman whose labors brought this day in the first place. While may get caught up in celebrating the birth of baby Jesus, it's really his mother Mary pushing while her cuckold husband Joseph ineffectually says, push! You really put the work in 2,000 years ago. I love calling Joseph a cuckold. Yet again, Joseph did get Mary pregnant. She's just the only woman to ever not have sin, okay? That's why it's called that's the real story in the Bible. It's not this fucked up amalgamation of what did not happen.
Talk about taking poetic license on poor Joe, man. Jeez.
We'll keep correcting it because too many people think it's really what happened. The blood, I don't even know if it really happened. It's in a book somewhere. It doesn't mean it happened. The Bloody Mary is the ultimate brunch hangover cure. And the Virgin Mary is a fantastic alternative. Ultimately, just take a spot serve in a glass instead of a bowl. It's a great way to get rid of a carton of tomato juice going off in the fridge. Pour tomato juice into a tall glass. Put a squeeze of lemon and a healthy glug of Worcestershire sauce. And a few dabs of Tabasco. Give it a mix and then add a crack of black pepper to the top. Then add the obligatory, if it explicitly, celery garnish. Some people put shrimp.
Most nobody in the United States uses that, right?
Yeah.
I think the United States customer use V8 instead of orange pepper.
Yeah, well, basically the same thing, yeah.
Tomatoes just so bland. It's bland. Tomato juice is vegetables at least. So, nice 8.
That's true. But yeah, you can put whatever you want in Virgin Mary. You can just put the toppings can be anything you feel like. Anything that's going bad in your fridge, I guess. Next up is the wineless mulled wine. I have had mulled wine. It's a Christmas classic, but it's very strong, and I definitely got drunk. I had to walk around it. And they're small cups, too. I only had one small cup, and I was like, goodbye. You can walk around a German Christmas market oogling overpriced hat and health code violating food vendors. There's nothing more comforting than sipping from a styrofoam cup filled with warming mulled wine. So these days, they actually sell it in plastic reusable cups that you can turn in to get your €1 back. When I'm king of drink will be mulled. Warmth and spices are obvious improvements to cold drinks. Mulled Fanta sounds incredible, you just don't have the imaginative capacity for it yet. The wine from this classic winter warmer, use a combination of pomegranate or cranberry juices. Heat the juices in a pot with some sugar, orange slices, cinnamon sticks, and starch and cloves, and pour into a mug to enjoy. Those winter nights can often feel dark and stormy, yet you always have light and stormy on your side. Yet something about Christmas always lightens the mood. Maybe it's the snowfall and that never actually happens. Or maybe it's just that Johnny here does drink and spend a whole period sloshed off in the wintertime. The original Dark and Stormy was a cocktail invention by the Ghostly Brothers Rum Company to sell their Black Seal rum. It is a gorgeous visual effect of the dark rum cascading through other liquids as it's layered on top of ginger beer. The Mocktail alternative has a couple of steps. First, you have to make a simple syrup. This involves heating equal parts sugar and water until they incorporate. Combine the simple syrup with some lime juice and ginger beer in a glass with the ice and stir together. Then on top of your drink, layer a small amount of molasses to create your stormy effect. Of course, every kid's favorite virgin drink, the pina colada, because of how much sweetness is in it. Who can say Christmas means cold if you're celebrating in the southern hemisphere? It's the height of the summer months and you need something more refreshing than a mulled wine without the wine. Can you believe we actually suggested that earlier? If you like pina coladas and get caught in the rain, then you got one hell of a mocktail for you, kid. Add a load of pineapple chunks into a blender, then add some pineapple juice and coconut milk. To this, add sugar, taste, and some ice. If you're mixing nice good blended, pour a smooth mocktail into the courteous glass you own. Garnish with a nuclear radiation emitting glass-shade cherry, and relax on sunbed. Merry Christmas! So there you go. There's those mocktails for you guys if you don't want it completely sloshed. You know, you can make the normal cocktails and then you can start making the mocktails, you know, when you no longer can see straight. Something like that. And have a nice and cozy drinking time for Christmas.
Yep.
Now,
Sugar high and the alcohol high.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can tell everything. Drinking's fine, it's drunk that cause the problems.
Yep.
Oh boy.
So true.
Here's drunk again. He's going to start telling everybody what he thinks. Okay. In this history, yeah, I need alcohol to tell you what I think. In 1783, on this day, before the Continental Congress, George Washington resigned as Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Armies. And war's over, going home, planting crops, smoke some weed, and retire. But they wouldn't let him. They made him president later. In 1805, Joseph Smith, an American prophet whose writings, along with the Bible, provided a theological foundation for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, was born. After really Joseph Smith, who hallucinated a bunch of stuff. Oh, sure. Yeah, okay. I shouldn't make fun of people's religions, but I make fun of all religion because it's all just, controlling you. So because you don't know any better out there, John. Jane, look, you don't know better. You need a religion to speak your ass out. That's what you need. 1815, British author Jane Austen published her Dilemma, which steers on a precocious and displays confidence in matchmaking abilities, cases several romantic misadventures. I'll read it now. 1866, the first comprehensive constitution of the Ottoman Empire went into effect, giving the Sultan full executive power. That's how the Constitution. Look, we don't get a king, we got a Sultan. There you go, different. Anyway. 1913, with the signing of the Federal Reserve Act by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson, the Federal Reserve System came into being. That's right. The Federal Reserve Bank was created, and we have a bank that says interest rates now and says, hey, all you banks, you can borrow from us at 0.5% or whatever. 1929, American jazz trumpeter vocalist Chet Baker was born. He was known for his plaintive, fragile tone of both his playing and his singing. Although 1929 was 105 years ago. 1941, early World War II, invading Japanese forces defeated U.S. troops at the Battle of Lake Island very early in World War II. Just basically, the U.S. entered it about December 7th, so 2 weeks after that, basically. Not quite 3. And 1968, on this day, 82 after being held captive for 11 months by North Korea, which claimed the U.S. Navy intelligence had crossed into its water. The pain in the ass, even that. 1972, American gridiron football running back Franco Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers made the Immaculate Reception. We were talking just a minute ago about the Immaculate Conception. The actual football play called the Immaculate Reception. It's regarded as one of the most famous plays in the U.S. NFL. Sure, he has the Steelers beat the Raiders. I think the final score was like 7-6 or something like that. And it was the only score Pittsburgh had. And it was a football and miracle play. They just bounced way up in there. Franco Harris ran all the way in. You got to see it, believe it. In 2001, Argentina announced its suspension of payments on its external debt. That's right. Way back in 2001, Argentina was having trouble leaving then. They're still having trouble now for the world's highest inflation rates. Anyway, this was the biggest debt default in history today, so Argentina still got shit straight. And it's happened 23 years ago. 2013, Russian weapons designer Mikhail Kalashnikov, who invented the AK-47, died in Russia and invented the AK-47. So, congratulations on all the death to shit. Anyway, so I guess it helped somebody win a war or something, but whatever.
Well, that's good, I guess.
We're celebrating an invention of a killing machine. Yeah, killing. You don't have to only kill people in war. I guess that's war, but AK-47s have no business being a weapon that people have in their house. There's no purpose for it, except manslaughter. Nothing. There's no purpose. Oh, I get to shoot pumpkins in the field. Ooh, that's about it. Feature event. 1995, Alexander Kwasniewski, inaugurated as Polish president. I can't say this, sir. Poland's ruling Communist Party was one of the country's president on this day in 1995, having narrowly defeated Lech Walesa, Poland's first post-communist president. So, Poland decided, let's get these idiots in charge again. For some fucking reason. We go Poland. Absolutely take a step backward for no good reason. Basically got a Putin guy in there. If he's a communist guy, he's like the Putin here. Our piece of biography, Akihito, Emperor of Japan, turns 90 days on December 23rd, 1930, and apparently still alive. So happy birthday to the old Emperor of Japan. Really old. 90. So everything else is up there. Other ways besides Joseph Smith. Madam C.J. Walker, American businesswoman and philanthropist. Madam C.J. Walker. Born in 1867. We already covered Chet Baker, Akihito. And U.S. General Joseph Dunford, born in 1955, I have not heard of him. He might still be around. But it's his birthday. Happy birthday. I know. So day calendar. It's Forefathers Day, which is actually December 22nd, unless it falls on a Sunday. Then it's the following Monday. So it's National Forefathers Day. I've only got one father, so I don't know about the other three. So, Forefathers Day.
Yeah, I got it.
It's National Festivus Day. I don't know what Festivus is. It sounds like looks like a big old marshmallow. I guess I can click on it, right? Get some knowledge in my brain here. Let's figure out what that is. It's also National Roots Day. If you're going to figure out where you came from, doing it every year now. Looking at roots, find out. How did we get here? How did I get here? National Roots Day. Let's see what's going on. Like German spice up very popular around holidays. Oh yeah, I think I've had these. They're light and they're speedy. Traditional methods recipes include nuts, almonds, and walnuts. Moderate recipes exclude nuts altogether, along with black pepper, retaining only cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, allspice, cardamom, and flavoring. There's a lot of spices in one cookie there.
Yeah, that is.
And it's also Festivus. Festivus for the rest of this.
Yeah.
We discussed at the beginning. Every December 23rd, the holiday where you just beat to strength. The Festivus bowl, and of course the area of grievances. So your days, December 23rd, 2024, and before Festivus.
Do we have any grievances today? I don't know. I didn't write the list, unfortunately, and I don't know. It's not happening.
I definitely agree. I have grievances with this here. Not really.
I hate capitalism. There you go. My grievance.
I'd be going on for hours. So.
All right. Well, let's see if there's any international days today for UN services. They have their own observances here. I haven't looked. Oh, we did miss one actually on Saturday, I believe. It's the World Meditation Day. So even though it's no longer World Meditation Day, I ask you guys all to take a breathe out there, get in the lotus pose, which is where you cross your legs and you do this. And just breathe. That's all you have to do. You can't have a mantra. You can say something like, I will be happy, or, I am loved. Whatever you want that makes you feel good about yourself, or you just listen to your own breathing in and out, and just do that for 10 minutes, and you'll feel like you just were reborn again. Well, some of you might. So, meditation is the ancient practice that involves focusing one's attention on the present moment, rooted in religious, yogic, and secular traditions across cultures. That's right, it's not just yogas, yogis who do it, but anyone can do it. It's great for transcending the spiritual origins and becoming a universal tool for personal well-being and mental health. Also, on Saturday, it was World Basketball Day. So that's right, get your basketball and shoot some hoops. Go play some horse with your friends for some UN-observed basketball. And this has been Allison from... What, sorry?
If your friends can't spell horse, just count to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
5 figures.
I hope you guys
and
have
a good place to meditate is not 20.
That's true.
Just do nothing anyway, 5 minutes. You just there, doesn't care. You'll be leading more than one way. Anyway.
Exactly. Well, this has been Alison here from the Netherlands, and Rod from the west coast of the United States. We'll see you tomorrow. That's right, we're going to keep doing this, even on holidays, because we have no life. We'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
Christmas Eve, if you celebrate, and also, it's a good day, so for all that good news we can find. If you're not subscribed, make sure you are. That'll be on the channel. Turn on notifications so you can notified. And comment down below some of your grievances for this year's Festivus. Here are the grievances. And speaking of which, let's go for my top moment.
Right on.
Oh no. Happy Festivus!
Poor George, you should have raised it.
Yeah.
I let Jerry Stiller.
The problem is you have to write down all the things they've disappointed you with, which I don't do. I just get over it.
Right. Right. You'll remember.